Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast, Secrets to the Saddle, All Things Cycling podcast with your host, Sylvie. Now, before we get started, I have a couple freebies for you. And before you go, check them out. Go and follow me on Instagram for more cycling tips. Okay, so that's Sylvie _cyclist. And I'll see you there. So my free downloads, there are 3 of them. The first one is my 9 favorite hill climbing skills download. So there's 9 in there. Go try them out. Next time you do hill repeats, do them with purpose. And that is what's going to give you the performance improvement if you go out and you have something very specific to work on. The next thing is my gear bin checklist. Now, if you're one of those people who kind of is like all over the place, maybe you show up late because you can't find this, you can't find that, get this list. Check out the bike bin or bike bag that I use. A lot of my club members have purchased it just to get organized. And what we do is we just keep it in our car with all of our stuff in it. So literally all I have to do is take that with me, put it in my trunk, my shoes, my helmet, my gloves, my food, my my chamois butter, my sunscreen, everything's in there. So I never have to go looking for anything. And the last thing is my bike maintenance recording. So it's an hour, but this hour is going to give you so much information about how to use the tools that you need to be carrying with you on a daily when you're going out riding, how to use them, how to take your back wheel off, how to change a tire, how to patch a tube, how to repair a broken chain, and all sorts of other things in between. So go to askcoachsylvie.com to download all your free documents and that recording. And I'd love to know your feedback on them. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram for more amazing tips. Take care and enjoy the episode. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for coming back for another amazing episode of Secrets from the Saddle, All Things Cycling podcast with your host, Sylvie Dow, and this beautiful woman, Tarsh Wendt from the UK. Now, before I bring her out, I'm going to give you a little background, but we just figured out through conversation before that we actually connected, or I connected with her in 2019. And then about a podcast, I saw her on a women's Facebook group, triathlon group, and then a mutual friend who I've known for 20 years connected us just the last month. So it's weird how things like wrap themselves around it, like it comes full circle, and here we are today. So this woman, I'm just going to give you a little background here before we bring it out, and we got some really cool stuff because what we're going to talk about is her clothing brand for triathlon or cycling. So Tarsh is passionate and she's a fun-loving Aussie. So she came from Australia, moved herself to the UK, which is now she's now based in London. She is the founder of activewear label Stomp The Pedal. So you have to go check out her page after. So she's a motivational speaker. She's done multiple Ironman Ironman competitions. And I'm super excited to bring her here, but we're just going to go a little bit deeper. So Tarsh never finished high school or went to university, and definitely is learning by experience. Her life in Australia was absolutely magical and she had no reason to leave. However, she wanted to see the UK and do all kinds of work over there. She needed to get her visa, and so this was when she was 31, and we're going to ask her how long she's been there. Let me see here. Her mission was to work full-time in her corporate job as a manager, as an investments team. Also, this was in the UK. She delivered pizzas in the evening and worked on the weekends in a butcher. So all to start her side hustle. And this is the side hustle that we're going to talk about. So never having anything easy. Tarsh has always worked her arse for it. I love it. Don't we all? And is working, and now she is running her side hustle while she's training. But just recently, she said that she moved from working full-time corporate to working full-time in her business. And so that is what we're going to talk about today. Tarsh, I'm so excited to have you here talking about your clothing line.
Hi, nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So first, and I forgot to mention this, but I always ask people how you got into cycling. So we'll start there, and then we're going to like just dive into the clothing line.
Okay, so I got into cycling by default because the company the company I worked for back in 2007, like 2006-7, became a sponsor of the corporate triathlon series in Australia. And so what they did was they came out to all of the staff and they were like, we've just sponsored this corporate triathlon series. We're looking for staff to take part. We'll give you all the training and we'll put you in all the gear, but we just want people to represent the company. And me, I'm a yes woman. I'm like, yes, I'm in.
Yeah.
So I was like, I put my hand up, and then I asked one of my staff, because I was managing a investments team. I asked one of my staff, I'm like, what is a triathlon? And they're like, didn't you just say yes to this? And I'm like, yeah, but what is it? And they said, well, you've got to swim, bike, and run. And I went, I don't know how to do any of those. I don't even own a bike, let alone goggles. And I don't have anything. I literally don't have anything. So that was my how I got into, well, triathlon and cycling and running and swimming, because prior to that, I just used to go to the gym and get ripped. Like, I didn't really care about all this cardio nonsense. No. But God, how things have changed, hey?
Yeah. So did you get yourself a coach, or did you just like,
So
you're like, hey.
Yeah, no, back then the company that I worked for supplied us with everything. So I got taught how to swim
Oh my
in a
gosh,
pool.
wow.
Yeah, I got taught how to swim in a pool. Then we got taught how to swim out in, like, for a race in the bay in the ocean. Then we got taught how to ride a bike. So that's when I learned also how to clip in and clip out. Like, this was like a 12-week training thing. Bought a secondhand bike, I bought a wetsuit, like all of these things. And that was back in 2007. And then it wasn't until 2008 that I left Australia and came over to the UK.
Oh my God. Well, I guess that's kind of cool that your company actually did that, because I guess they're like, well, if I'm going to have staff represent, they better be representing properly and actually don't.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a great investment. Also something great for you. So how, just before we dive in, move on to the UK, how many of the staff decided and got into this?
I think we had a couple, maybe just over 100 staff members took part. Yeah, because
Wow.
yeah, and I think it was a great place for me, because I got to meet people in the business that I hadn't met before, and I'm still friends with these people like 14 years later. So yeah,
Did a lot of
a
them
really good thing.
embrace? Yeah, did a lot of them embrace the triathlon spirit like you did?
Yeah. A lot of them, strangely enough, a lot of them were already runners or cyclists. It's just, it wasn't something that it was never something in my world, because my friends, we just used to party, like go to the gym, walk around looking really hot in our like muscles, and then go party. There was none of this waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go for a
What?
swim.
You have to swim in the morning? Like,
Yeah. I'm like, so my entire lifestyle changed. Well, it started the change back then.
So
yeah.
So how long? So you said it was 14 years ago? You said
Yeah,
14
so
years ago?
I started back in 2007 with like a simple sprint race, which, you know, was the biggest thing in my world. I'm like, oh my God, how do people do this? This is like mega. This is mega. And then in 2008, I left Australia. I packed my bike and brought it with me. and I moved to the UK. But it wasn't until 2010 in the UK that once I started living in Richmond and I found a triathlon club, that I actually then started back in, like, figuring it all out again in the sport.
What prompted the move? Like, I know it said like you wanted
So
to see
the
the
move,
UK.
yeah, so I left Australia because I hadn't gone to high school and because I hadn't finished university. The only way to come to the UK to work was to get a working holiday visa. So I got a working holiday visa in 2008, and I had to get to the UK before I turned 31. So I literally landed a week before I turned 31 in the in the UK, but I had this 2-year working holiday visa, which didn't activate until I landed in the country. So yeah, and then that was it. That, mate, the rest is history. Like, I don't even know
Just
how I'm.
left your corporate job and you moved over to the UK, and did you go to a job?
No, so the pizza, the working the full
Oh,
time and the pizza delivery and the working
right.
working in the butcher was to fund, like, just to get as much money as possible to come over. Like, I saved 40,000 Australian dollars. Like, I saved a lot of money. But when
Wow.
I came to the UK, I was only able to get 32p for every dollar. Like, it was
Oh,
ridiculous. So
wow.
all that
That's
money
like
I saved was terrible. And
that's
then I was
like
like,
Canadians going to the UK.
oh my God, I thought I was really rich. And then I was like mega poor. I
Yeah,
was
like
really poor.
chunk it in half and not even that. You're like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, it was a lot. So I was really fortunate, had a friend that I could stay with for a few months. At one point, I nearly ran out of money and I contacted my best friend back at home and I said, I think I'm going to have to come back because I'm overqualified to work, or I don't have UK experience, so nobody wants to hire me. And she's like, you are not coming home. I'm going to send you some money. And then the following week, I got a contract job, so I was fine.
Oh,
But
wow, that worked out.
yeah, I think the universe was really looking after me, actually.
Yeah, send you some good vibes. So now that so you got to stay in the UK, so how are you able to extend it? Is it because
Yeah,
of
so
that job?
no. So I set up my own consultancy firm, and I basically contracted out to clients because I'm like a lead business analyst. So I work on projects in private banking, investment banking, all that kind of banking. And I got sponsored for 5 years. And once I was sponsored for 5 years, after that time had passed, I was then eligible for my right to remain. So now I have a right to remain here in the UK. And yeah, I bought a house. And yeah, now I'm just like, I live here, live here, live here. I'm invested.
Ace. Wow. Okay, so now you're full on into Ironman. So I
Yeah,
assume that passion just like
grew.
yeah, followed you over to the UK, and you're in there, you found your triathlon club, you're doing some Ironman, or when did you progress to Ironmans? Or are you one
So
of
I
those ones that
started.
just jumped right in and
No,
said,
no. I wanted to, so I'm all about respecting the distance and respecting the process and the journey. So I just wanted to understand like how you would go through. So I started off again at sprint, then I went to an Olympic distance, and then I moved over to the middle distance. And then I went, well, the next step, I was at a friend's house that as part of my Thames Turbo Tri Club. We had several of our athletes in Kona. And so what we did was we would have a Kona party here. And they're like, oh, you've got to come to the Kona party and watch this iconic race. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I go, we have this great time. We're watching this race. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm like, these people are
sign me up?
mad. But I'm like, oh my God, these people are crazy. Like, why would you want to do this to yourself? Gosh. And then it wasn't until like the end of 2013 that I'm like, well, I've done all the distances now except this one. So I think I read Chris McCormick's book on my way home to Australia. So I was going home for Christmas, I was listening to his book, and he was talking about his journey in Kona and all that jazz in the book. And I'm like, he's a fellow Aussie. Again, I didn't even really know who he was. I'm like, fellow Aussie, I'm gonna give this Ironman a go. So yeah, it wasn't until I came back home to Australia, in 2013. So it was end of 2012. So 2013, beginning of the year, I came back home, spoke to one of the coaches in the club, and said, "Oh, I want to have a go at this Ironman," and that was it. Started training for a whole year.
I think that's good. That's a really good step, because I don't know how many people I talk to, like, oh yeah, I'm getting super healthy and I just signed up for an Ironman and I've never ridden like 60 kilometers, because I'm a cycling coach, right? So I'm like, oh my God. It's like, you've just signed your life away. You have no clue. I mean, you should have started with a sprint triathlon. I love that you went through, because ultimately when you do that, your body is ready to go the next distance, and then it's much easier. It's not like you have to rip yourself apart to, like, you got a new routine. You got to be in the pool by 5 and, like, bike like 100K every weekend and then run a marathon, and you're like, and you got 3 kids. You're like, what were you thinking? Like,
I know, right? I'm like, oh my God, all these people do this, but I think we get a rude awakening unless they're already like really fit and healthy and have been either swimming their whole life or they've been running their whole life or something like that. But me, I hadn't done any of that. I had to.
Yeah,
I
you
really
started
had to
right.
learn. Yeah, I had to learn.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if you have a background, at least one of the 3 sports, and you're that far ahead, but it's just the time.
Yes.
The time, like, it's just all consuming. And I don't think people realize at that point. I'm like, you probably should have waited like a couple years and got your body ready for it. So, all right. So now you're in the UK, and what made you decide to start like looking into women's clothing? Like, what spurred that?
So it's really weird because so I in the UK, if you think back to like 2013, it was really just Twitter back then and also Facebook. So I was, pretty prolific on Twitter way back in the early days. I was one of those early adopters. And a lot of the triathlon community would chat through there. And when I said, I'm going to go do an Ironman, and then I started looking at all these people that had all these sponsors, and obviously these are pros.
Yeah.
So I like put a call out. I'm like, I am going to get sponsors, not
Oh yeah.
having no clue.
We all feel like that sometimes. I'm gonna go get like lots of money. People are gonna want to sponsor me. They're like, not really.
Yeah, so this is the weird thing, right? So I had friends in the club. They're like, Tarsh, we love you, but listen, you're not even fast. No one's going to sponsor you, right? And I'm like, I know, but if they can do it, I can do it. I can do this. You know what? I ended up with more sponsors than a pro, because at the end of the day, it didn't, and it wasn't about how fast you were. And I think this is the mistake that I think it's a bit crazy now. I think it's a bit of a wank now, but back then I thought it was pretty epic. I had awesome sponsors. I didn't pay for anything. I got everything given to me. And yeah, I promoted them, but I went to companies that I was already using their product before. So I used to use Funkita swimwear back in Australia. And so I basically approached Funkita swimwear in Australia and told them what I was doing. And so they gave me, I basically a whole 2 years, I was like sponsored by them, and I would just get everything sent. And then I had like Hoop, I had Adamo for my saddle, I had Noon hydration. I had some top brands in there.
Nice.
It was quite good, but kit wise, Hoop actually sponsored me for my kit for, I don't know, 2-3 years. And they were great, brilliant. And, Dino's a really great guy. But over time, I'm like, God, this kit is boring as hell. Like, there's no color in the world. Then I discovered
that too.
Yeah. And the other thing, what I was doing from 2013 right through, I was building my personal brand. I was like, you know what? I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm going to inspire people, or I'm going to show people the real side of this sport, not all the, showing just, fancy stuff. But at the same time, back then we only had Twitter. Facebook was Facebook, and I had a page, and it was following my journey, but there was no Instagram until like 2014, 2015. So, and even then it was really, really new. And again, you had to get early adopters. So finally got onto Instagram and then started posting. But if I go back, way back through my post to my original post, I don't know, it was like a picture of like, I think the sea or something. It was nothing. Again,
well, I remember like trying to, I remember 2007 was Facebook, and then I think there's like there's a variety of other platforms like for younger kids, right?
Yeah.
And Periscope was one, and that went up
Yes,
and then
yes,
came
all
down.
those I think other brands tried to do something similar to what we have now in terms of Instagram, but it never flew. Never took off.
MySpace was another.
Yeah, MySpace. So then, basically, I then became, after, having all these sponsors and slowly, navigating my way through my first Ironman, and I went back home to Australia to do my first Ironman. And then I also, in the same year, did Roth, which is in Germany. People call it Roth, but it's Rot it's pronounced differently in German. So we basically went to Roth and Melbourne in 2014. And then I discovered Betty Designs. And so I applied for ambassadorship for Betty Designs, because I'm like, I'm in the UK. The kit here is boring. No one has any color. There's nothing for female. I just was like, there was just too many. It was boring. So then I didn't become an ambassador for Betty Designs until 2016. 16 and 17. I was an ambassador for Betty Designs. Met amazing girls, met Kristen, just was all of that. And then I'm like, you know what? We don't have this in the UK. We just do not have a high quality female brand that does awesome designs so that you can be seen on the circuit. There's just nothing out there in the UK. I didn't care about the rest of the world, because the United States has got way more people than us in the UK, and there's so much more space, but there are so many brands already over there. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to, I'm not aiming for that market. But I looked at where I was, and I'm like, here in the UK, even though it's a very small percentage of people that do triathlon, and then again, women in triathlon, I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to create a really high-end, well-made product that I will be proud to wear, because I'm so vain that if it looks crap, I ain't going to buy it. And if I'm not going to buy it, nobody else is going to buy it. So, and because of my vanity and reputation, I believe I have created an amazing product that the women that have grown it love. And it's proven that they love it, because they keep coming back. I've got like a 90% return rate on my clients. Like, they just, with no ambassadorships and no sales, I don't do sales. They literally just see the kit they like, and then they come back and they buy it. So there's people with a really nice big collection, actually, which is kind of cool.
Well, I was looking on your page at all your clothes. I got to see a couple pages before we got on, and I was like, because I too have been, like, here in Canada, I'm an ambassador for one, like BME. So, and they have nice, sorry, I shouldn't say it. I'll take.
They have lovely kit, probably.
They have lovely kind of kit. It's, like, it's not like standoutish. It's like, and then I look on Instagram and I see some of these kits, and I don't even know where they come, like Spain or Belgium. I don't know where they are, but they're usually on Spanish women.
And
I'm just like, and then I see yours, very, very colorful. I'm like, why? And then I'm like, how do I buy that? And then why isn't something like that over here? for us, because I mean, I have a women's cycling club and we try and make our jerseys like,
I saw your jersey. It's quite loud.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
quite, so like I can see one of my members like across the way, and I'm just like, oh, there's my peep, and people can see us, and that's the whole point.
That is exactly the whole point. So when you're racing, if you've got your family out there and they're out there supporting you for hours on end, the last thing you want is to like run past them and they don't know who you are.
In the black or the blue or the red or the, you know, just like, no.
It's just impossible to identify.
Yeah, and it's funny because I did a little photo shoot this spring for them, and I just like, and I was just trying some of these shorts on. I'm like, is there anybody who tests these? Because like they're really uncomfortable. Maybe they're for a certain purpose, but like anywho, and I was just like thinking about that. So how did you get into like suppliers and chamois? I mean, like there's dozens of those out there. I know like for they're not as thick as like road, but I mean, you guys bike, if you think about Ironman, you bike a lot longer than say like the average road ride, and you know, we have way thicker chamois than you guys have on your bikes. So I'm like, why is
really sorry, yes, of course, no, sorry, I thought you were like having thicker than so
some of them are like this.
Mine are really thin on the tri-suit.
Tri-suits are thin, and I like them. I like them better.
And there's a reason, obviously, for that, because we have to swim, cycle, and run in them. So you don't want to be feeling like you're wearing a nappy while you're swimming, running, and cycling. Nobody wants that. It's not a good look.
It's not a good look, for sure.
Not a good look. But I spent 2015, 2016, and quite a bit of 2017 before I launched. I basically bought everybody's kit. So my research and development was 3 years in cycling stuff. And my ex-husband and myself, my ex-husband mainly, he bought me a lot of my kit, knowing that this is where I wanted to go and eventually I would get there. But yeah, I would buy everyone's kit, and back then I was known as a kit whore on social media, my own term. And I would give my honest review.
I like that, yeah.
I used to get in trouble by the Betty Design girls because I was an ambassador for Betty Designs, but I was wearing everybody's cycle kit, which was a big no-no. So I was like, I'm sorry, I will always race in it, but I love freedom. I want color. I want to be able to express myself. I want to support everybody. And in the end, that's why I left I left halfway through my second year as an ambassador for Betty Designs, because I wanted the freedom. I wasn't getting paid to promote. And so I thought, it's my body, I'll wear what I want. And
unless you're paying me, well,
unless
that's
you're
another
paying
story.
me. This is real estate. And if you want to advertise on me, you have to pay me now. That's the way I see it. So
well, I think you're bang on. Like if you're going to spend all that time posting and, you know, doing stuff that promotes them so they get sales and you get like nothing. I totally agree.
Or anything. Yeah. So I just thought, no disrespect to no. So no disrespect to any ambassador programs or anything out there. I understand we make money, right?
Yeah.
I walked away going, it's not what I want. I want to be able to have freedom to wear what I want, support who I want, etc., etc. So I left that, and by September 2017, I had created my brand. Now this was driven after doing loads and loads and loads of research. So I would look at every inch of the cycle kit, because I only started in cycle kit, and I'd look at every inch of everybody's cycle kit, and my God, the amount of crap out there versus, I mean, technology has come on a lot since I started, but there was a lot of rubbish. And I think if I was to buy everybody's version of their kit today, you can tell who's is getting made in the same factory as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Okay.
it's literally identical. Whereas I can put my hand on my heart and I know that I choose every single panel. I choose the chamois, the paneling, the stitching, everything that puts my piece together is all selected from me, I'm not taking something that already exists and then just whipping a pattern on it. That's why it takes me so long to bring something to market, because I'd spend a long time testing, washing, testing over and over and over. So yeah, there's a process involved, a massive process. Yeah, I just Google, if anyone's wanting to start their own brand in this space, Google is your best friend. And unfortunately, that is how you get on it. Like, you're not going to find anyone in the industry that is going to sit down and give you all the tools of how to bring this to space, because it takes so long. And samples, you have to pay for samples. Nothing is for free. And also in this industry, you have to pay for everything up front. So there's no accounts. So you need to have a bit of money as well. You need to have a little bit of money to be able to fund it. And yeah, the margin's small. It's an interesting business to be in, and it takes time, but it's fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all rewarding, even though you've been slow at it. I mean, can't imagine like anything good that comes out of something that somebody has rushed through.
Yeah.
What did you start with? Like, what piece? What is your
yeah.
signature piece? Do you have
So
one behind you?
I started off with a cycle jersey and cycle bibs. And I basically had initially launched to men and women, but when I launched to men and women, only maybe 4 guys bought it. 5 guys, and these are guys that I knew. So
they don't count.
I'm like, you know what? I think I should just stick with what I know, and I know women. I know our composition. I know how hoo-ha works, and I can test this myself on a curvaceous figure and like really look at how it's going to look performance wise and everything, but also the chamois be hoo-ha-tastic, make sure the seams are in the right places, all this kind of stuff.
That is super important. I don't know
Massively
how many times we talk about that on a ride.
Yeah, the hoo-ha needs to be in tip-top shape when you've finished the ride. So yeah, so I only started out with cycle kit. So that was in like September 2017. So 18, 19, 2018, 2019, and to date has been cycle kit. And only in 2020, February of 2020, so February last year, just before the pandemic, I launched the Triathlon collection, which I'd spent 12 months previously designing. And I went through 8 versions before I got to my final version. I remember racing. Sorry, I talk a lot, but I remember racing.
Go ahead. This is great. Keep going.
So part of my testing was I've got to wear these in a race and try it out. So I raced a race out here called Marbella. No, Marbella was in Spain, and I also did another race called the Lakesman. And in both, and these were different versions. I think it was iteration number 6 and then iteration number 7. But oh my God, beautiful kit, looked amazing on, but it cut. My hoo-ha got cut so bad that I was like, I was wincing every time I had to pee. So I'm like, okay, this is not going out to market, because if I can't, like, if this is cutting me, can you imagine what it would do to everybody else? Hell no. Yeah. So yeah, it wasn't until version 8 and I got my friend and myself, we both did Ironman Wales.
Oh, so you're testing it on like a big event, not like a little sprint event where you can like.
No. You need to work the duration, right? So, and I did this in like 15 hours. I gave it a good test. But then I also had my friend, she was in it for like maybe 9 or 10 hours, and she was mega fast. So I raced Copenhagen in my kit. I raced 3 Ironmans in my kit in 2019, and I had a couple of other girls also race in 2019 in the kit, of various levels, various sizes, so we could see what it would be like. We all were told that we looked like superstars. Like, we looked amazing. So that was like the box. And
Yours
then
gone, yeah.
yeah. And then 2020 is when I actually launched the collection to the public. And then we went into a pandemic.
Yeah, but everybody started shopping. Was it a good thing?
Yeah. So in that financial year, for our financial year, I did £100,000 in sales and no one was racing. And it's only this year that the kit is starting to be seen by people. And so it's been great. It's been great. It wasn't great last year, but it was great last year, if that made sense.
Oh my God. So because I was looking at some of your pictures, and do you have one of your suits close by? Can you grab it? Because I have a couple questions about it. So I hope everybody go to YouTube to watch this, because Tarsh is pulling out one of her kits that and she's going to, ooh, look at that. Okay, so I have a question about the front flap right there, and then about the pockets in the back, because I was like, oh, that's pretty cool looking. So tell me about that. So everybody, you have to, so I'm going to give you a visual. So this is a skin suit for triathlon. It's short sleeve, and it's a one-piece skin suit, and in the front there's a little flap. And we're going to talk about that. And then in the back, she has some pretty cool pockets. It's like a whole, is it all the way through?
So it's two back pockets with a side entrance, but they're very wide and deep, so you can carry quite a bit.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that. So make sure that you go to YouTube and check out this portion at least, so you can see exactly what we're talking about. Okay, so if you think about a jersey, it's a full zip in the front, and it opens up to a bib type insert. So that's what that is. Okay.
So what that does is that allows it does a few things. It allows the wearer to be able to strip off quickly and go to the bathroom, and then come back, basically come out of the toilet. So what I've done when I was testing it was I would go to the bathroom, and then I would literally pull up my pants and run out and do the rest up while I was on the run course, so that I'm not stuck in the bathroom losing time. I'm back out on the course. And when I wore this in Copenhagen, I went to the bathroom a lot. I had gut issues for the first time in like 12 Ironmans. that was one of my, I was in the bathroom, and it was raining. So I got to really test the ability to take the suit on and off quickly, in and out multiple times. And I was like, oh, this comes off nicely. Like, even when it's wet, it comes off nicely. It just
doesn't like stick to your skin, because some of them, like when you're trying to put it back on, you're like, you're like, oh my God.
But yeah, no, they literally would just like come off and come back on. Now this bit in the front, like a bib, like it's similar to like a bib short, is to sort of kind of not hold our guts in.
Hold that up again.
So for the women, when we're racing, if we've got my mums that have like the mum pots, or me, like I'm perimenopausal, I have a menopot now that I never used to have.
But that's not what that's called, is it? We'll talk about that after.
It allows the female to have a really nice svelte figure. So you feel like there's no muffin top. Everything's like kind of nicely.
It's like neatly, a girdle. It sucks everything in.
Yeah, it's nice and neat, and it's nice and easy then to just do the zip up and then zip your suit back up, so that when you're wearing it, I feel like I wear a small and I'm 75 kilos. I don't know what that is in pounds, but when I raced in 2019, I was between 68 and 65 kilos and still wore a small. So these suits look amazing on, like they look amazing on.
The
Then
material looks really nice.
yeah, and so that's another thing when people buy it or try, or I send it to try on or whatever, they're like, oh my God, your fabric, the fabric is just another level. And I'm like, oh my God, what is everybody else using these days? Because I only go for the
I
best.
tell you
Then
what we're using.
yeah,
I'm
it
like,
is. I mean, it's not a cheap suit. It's a high-end boutique brand. I'm not there to try and cater for the new people just starting out. I don't expect them to spend that kind of money. But when it's something that they aspire to. It's like a process. Like as you go through the journey of your time in the sport, the more you're in it, the more you want to invest in it. And that's when you start. Like it's like you start off with an average bike, and then as you get better and you enjoy it, you then progress to a really nice bike. Same with the suit. You aspire to get them. And then there's the side pocket. These are really deep. I don't
yeah.
carry it. Yeah, I don't carry a lot of stuff on my actual bike itself. So I put all my nutrition in my side pockets. So when you're in aero, you literally just have to put your side and you just grab it and pull it out. None of this over the top like that. Flexibility is
Yeah.
yeah.
So if
So
you
it's a
guys
side
can
pocket.
picture, yeah. So if you guys can picture, if you've got your cycling jersey on, you have all your pockets where you have to dive into them,
Yeah.
where her pockets, you go sideways in. And there's a woman who has a brand, it's KLS, I think, in Montreal. And
Okay.
a lot of her suits, same thing, dresses, little jumpsuits, they have a
Yeah.
back pocket on
Mm-hmm.
one side where you can put your phone and you just like whip it out like that.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
like a pocket, like a hand in, it's like behind your back kind of deal.
Yes.
And it's just
Yeah.
like that. And she was
And
a
so
road cyclist.
yeah, and so the reason why the pockets are on this have a side entrance on the tri suit is because when you are in aero, you want to maintain that aero position. So all you want to be able to do is just come in from the side, grab your gels, bring it to the front, consume your bits and pieces. And also on my suits, there are side pockets on the legs as
Oh,
well.
very cool. Those are nice.
Yeah, so this is great because when you're on the run leg and even on the bike, you can put stuff on your side pocket. I tend to, on the bike, put the waist. So when I finish with the gel wrapper, I'll fold it in half and then just slide it in my side pocket, and then that will just hold it. Then when I get to the run, when I get into T2, I empty those and replace it with new stuff, and off I go, kind of thing.
That's great thinking. Because
Practicality, whilst
practical,
looking
yeah.
good, whilst looking good.
But the thing is, it's being arrow because that's a
Yeah, yeah,
big thing
yeah,
for triathlon, even time trials.
yeah.
The suit is one of the components along with the helmet and then the bike that
Mm,
will improve your time.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Position, kit, bike,
Yeah,
helmet.
helmet.
Yes. All the
That
things.
is really pretty. I like it. Well, if
Thank
you're
you.
ever
Yeah,
looking
this
for
one.
someone to, I'm not a triathlete, but do you have a short sleeve, like a sleeveless
I
in
do
like
have a
that?
sleeveless suit. Yeah, so the sleeveless suit is the same, except on
Because
the
I was looking at your site for one of those because that is something that I'm looking for. Because I do a lot of coaching inside in the winter, and like I just don't want to have like the sleeves and everything. Like I want to be like, I don't have like all sorts of fans and everything, and
mhm,
just a one piece that I can pull on. And so that's why I was looking at all these other like really chic kind of colors so
mm,
that I could, find a couple that I can wear throughout the winter of my training. And I don't
yeah.
have to have like a jersey top on, like sleeves. And I'm just like tank top and like shorts, or tank top and my bib. And just, you know what
Is
I
this
mean?
when you're doing turbo? Is this when you're doing it on the indoor trainer?
No, well, this is when I'm coaching
Okay,
online.
okay.
So
Oh, okay, yes.
yeah, so I'm in
You want
front
to
of
look good.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I want to look good. I don't really want to be in my sports bra where I'm hanging out, my boobs are in front, because everybody's like looking at me as a coach. And so I'm
Of
like,
course, of course.
I'm trying to find something that is like not going to make me sweat so much, and and I look good. So I bought a couple, and I'm just like, and I started splitting at the seams. I'm like, oh my God. Well, it was cheap.
What?
And there you go.
Oh
Cheap.
my.
And then I tossed it, like I handed it off to somebody else. I'm like, no, I'm not wearing this.
Okay, yeah, no, I do have sleeveless suits. The
Yeah,
difference
that one's
so the
love the
difference
yellow.
yeah, thanks. The difference with my sleeveless suits is there's no side entrance pockets on the back because these is more for short distance. So a lot of the athletes tend to wear this in the sprint and the Olympic distance, but there is pockets on the legs, just not on the back because it's too short and sharp.
Yeah, and I like so everybody, if you're thinking like, so hers is the sleeveless, they're really nice cut around the shoulders, and she's got a good it's a really nice ventilation material.
So this was the original ventilation fabric. However, after I did a lot of testing, this is one of my test suits. When I did a lot of testing, this ventilation fabric is too fragile. So what would happen is it would slowly deteriorate. So during the testing, the year-long testing of the kit, I actually replaced this because it was just too fragile, Whereas now I use it doesn't look as ventilated, but actually it is. It's carbon technology. So this is a carbon fabric. Now there's a lot of little holes in here. It's just not as prominent as the other one.
Right. Yeah.
It's got cool technology. It's also like all the 50 plus factor. The only part this part is not recyclable fabric, but all the other parts are. But yeah,
it has been recycled. Like that is recyclable. That's recycled products, or
so this is it's fabric made by recycled product.
Oh my gosh, that's super cool. I love it.
Yes, we're all about. It's got all the bits in here.
Sustainability.
Yeah, and yeah, it's all made from recycled yarn.
Oh my gosh, cool.
Yes, we like to. Well, all my packaging is compostable, and
how did you find that material?
So the factory I use, they pretty much have. Anytime they get new fabric, I get sent out swatches on hangers. And so sometimes I get sent a parcel and there's like 20 different swatches. And then on each swatch, there's like 5 to 6 pieces of fabric and it goes through each one. So I can then go online and do my own research and have a look at, is this true to its word? And but I've got I'd love to invest in my office once I get myself set up properly. Is put like a steel rod and then have all my swatches hanging so that I can just go by and test. And like the swatches that come through will be everything from the zip to the chamois, from the chamois to the grippers. So you can really
the arms, and the legs,
and the legs.
The legs! Don't talk about the legs. We don't like the sausage leg look, huh?
No, so that's one thing that I can.
Did you eliminate that?
Yeah, I haven't had one client come back to me and say that it didn't look good on her because she felt it was a sausage look. Out of all other clients, no, everyone is loving it. So yeah,
I want that.
But this is why testing and repeat testing and repeat testing, and you do that for so long that by the time you go out to market, you know you're not going to get a lot of returns or ask for refunds. Things that might ever come back as a return could be that the sizing just might not be right, and it's not even returned for a refund. It's returned for, please can you order me the right size in the next pre-order. And then these clients are prepared to wait that little bit longer to get that design in that comfort, but just in the right size. So yeah, very small percentage, very, very small percentage.
Do you have a team that you work with?
That's just me. No.
Oh, come on. You can't do all your social media stuff.
Yeah. So there's me, and I do have a virtual assistant that I hired. When did I hire her? Maybe September last year. Did I hire her last year or this year?
You're like, I need to get rid of
I hired her. Yeah, I did hire her last year. I don't know. she's been with me and she's amazing. Uh, no, I do all my social media. I have one lady who part of the team, part of her team, not my team, part of her team that will review and just make sure I'm kind of on like doing something good with the grid. But I'm one of those people where I don't really care. I just want to show off all the stompettes in the kit. So I just post what I want, whatever I want, however I want. I can't be bothered.
Well,
Life is too short.
you know what? The thing is that I think a lot of people just stop themselves, like myself. It's like thinking too much about what to put out there. You just got to get it out there, regardless if it's pretty or not, like so people can just see it. Because the ones that judge you aren't going to be your
Yes,
product
and
users anyways. So
yeah.
you're just like, whatever.
And that's the thing. I might put all my stuff on Instagram, but it's not where I get my clients from. I get my clients from word of mouth, from my email list, and just people knowing me over the years, like, and coming on the journey. So, but Instagram, no, I don't even do any paid advertising on the social media. I'm just like, whatever. One day I will, but right now, no.
Well, one day when you need to, maybe. So, but
Yeah.
how do look at that? Flies right here. So how do you keep the pot flowing, like the money coming in? Is it enough for you to
No.
or do you have an extra side hustle to keep you going for that?
No. So I worked
If you don't have to say. I was just
no, because this is
as a
people need to know
businesswoman, I'm curious.
No, this is also how the reality for me. I wish other female brand owners talked about their journey of building a brand out there in this space, but I don't know why, but people just don't do it. And I've shared as much as I can with 2 brands for the US. 2 girls that I know. One's just launched. I think she launched only like last month. And another girl, she launched a few months ago. But they asked me lots of questions and I was quite happy to share. So I just wish other established brands in the female space talked about it a bit more, because I think people think that you make a lot of money, and you don't make a lot of money because everything you make goes back into product development to make it better or to widen the range. But because I had a corporate job where I consulted, I would just bank all my money, all my funds. And so I funded, my ex-husband gave me an initial loan of money to help me, which was about £7,000. And that was just to help get it off the ground. And then ever since then, it's been my own money. And what I have been doing since September 2017 is running it through a pre-order model. So I would set it all up and then clients would order, knowing full well that it would take, 9 to 12 weeks, depending on the size of the order and where I got in the production line, in the production schedule. And then, they would pay up front and then I would send them the kit when it got here. As soon as the kit arrives with me,
Yeah, that makes sense, because then you know exactly, you don't have to carry lots of inventory. You're like,
right.
The cart, the shopping, the store is open for the next month, then it's going to close, and then you go to production, and then you're going to get your kit in like 8 weeks.
Yeah.
That's kind of
depending on who's for mine takes 12 at the moment. And I think it's just because it's trying to get into the production schedule. They will send me things earlier if they can get me in sooner. But you are in a line with others.
I know it's true. Like when we go for our club kits, it's like we have a closing date to get your orders in, and then everything goes in, like all the sizes and all this stuff, and then it's approved, and then it goes in the queue wherever that is. And then we wait. Well, usually it's 8 weeks.
That's good.
6 if it's really good.
I'd love that. Also, I have to cater for Italy shuts the whole of August, so nothing can get made in August because my factory shuts in August. And then my other factory, which is in Asia during Chinese New Year, they shut for 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. So for me, I need to have, so I've already designed next year's collections and they're already in production. So I would receive those at the end of this month. And I'll shoot those next month in September. I'll do a photo shoot. But I'm going to change my model because in order to grow, you kind of do need to have stock in the store. So I will be doing a transition of going from pre-order model to having stock in the store, and I will buy stock based on historical sizing that has been purchased in the past. Once I buy that stock and it sells, that's it. It's gone. The collection's
right. So you're like 8 sizes small and that's it. First come, first serve. And I mean, that's smart too. You can't have an overload of inventory because you're going to be screwed with all that.
Yeah. Stuff that you can definitely keep in stock for those that want to create their own brand is, like, I've got a signature line. So my signature bibs, which are just plain navy and plain black, I always have them in stock of various sizes, because that way clients can buy those. And then you can you can have really good bibs. And then when you see a really cool jersey that you like, whether it's my brand or somebody else's brand, you can sort of just like buy that and get it and match it with your favorite bibs kind of thing. But yeah, next year I'm going to try, again, trial and error. If it doesn't work for me, then I'll switch to a different model. So I'm constantly evolving.
Yeah. Well, hey, I was just thinking about, and I should have asked you before, but the chamois.
Yeah.
Can you show us what the chamois looks like for all us ladies? Because I've got varieties of them, and some of the most basic are the most comfortable. Some of the most technical are just like, oh my God, they're like sitting on a surfboard. I'm like,
so no, I totally get it. So I have, I only buy my chamois from Elastic Interface Technology. So they're an Italian-based brand. I've never had any issues with them. So I always use those chamois. Now there's a chamois, I want to transfer possibly my cycle kit manufacturing to another factory, but they don't hold the chamois that I use. So I'll need to go to my contact in Italy and ask to buy my chamois in bulk and then have that sent over to my factory where they will then hold it. And then when they make my kit, they have to make it with my chamois.
What makes your decision when you change companies like that? Because that's a whole process to start over and like make sure that they're going to produce it. Is there
this is really painful because I've never had, my cycle kit is such an epic product, but because the UK left the EU, Brexit has absolutely killed me. And the tax and the customs and all of that to come from over there to over here is just too much. And also for me to get it made where I get it made, it costs a lot of money. Some people are selling their kit for like $69.99, right? It costs me just a little bit less than that to get my bibs made. Do you know what I mean? So how I have no idea how they do that. They must have child labor because I can't get the concept. So I need to sort of review and have a look. That's going to be a whole process, a whole new process. I'm not selling cycle kit at the moment purely because the whole EU getting it in, getting it out. Like, I don't even sell to Europe anymore because the taxes that my clients have to pay now that are stipulated by their country is just ridiculous. So yeah.
Is that causing everybody to buy internally? Is that what that's all about? Oh yeah.
So clients, the people that are in Europe, as much they will wait till they come over. So they're like, can you please order? They say to me things like, can you please order me this kit, but don't send it to me until I'm in Europe, like until I come over to the UK. And I'm like, oh my God, I could have this for a while. They're like, yeah, that's fine. I just want it when I come.
Definitely worth the money.
I will buy it and I will pick it up when I'm over there. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can. I mean, everything's just so close. I imagine like it's like a weekend trip. I'm just gonna go plan something, go pick up my shopping order at the same time. Wow. Oh, that really sucks.
As well. I said to them, don't worry about me posting it to you. I'll just come and meet you in the UK, like wherever you are in the UK. I'll just come and meet you and we'll have lunch. I'll give you a kit.
Oh,
It's kind of
sure.
cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Wow. So,
The chamois. Let me
the
see.
chamois. Yeah, let's just see the chamois. Oh, and then we were
Right.
going to talk about plus size. I know we're
Yes,
talking a lot, but I mean, this is
that's
really
okay.
interesting. So
Okay,
let's do
so
the chamois.
chamois
Okay.
on my tri-suit, it is a
Thank you for
very
making it red, by the way.
although so it's going to change.
Oh,
No, I'll explain why. This is not by choice. So Elastic Interface Technology, the company that I buy my chamois from, they are still making the exact same chamois, but they're changing it to grey.
okay. Gray is okay.
Yeah.
Like when you get like really light colors, you're like,
Yeah, don't you realize we're women and we have periods and we might bleed out? So hey, we need I mean, let's just be real here. This is the kind of things
seriously,
that we
I'm
face.
like, oh, gorgeous, but
So
oh my
the
god.
chamois in the tri-suit is a thinner chamois, and it's thin because we swim, bike, and run in it. That's that. Let me see.
It looks comfortable from here.
Okay, I'm going into my.
Oh, is this your bike shorts?
This is my bike. So these are my bibs.
Oh,
Reflectors. It's all about the stitching as well. The stitching is what causes the sausage leg.
yeah, I know. It's like,
Okay, so my chamois is this one's green.
yeah.
They look like a penis, don't they? It's horrible. But it really just mimics the saddle. Listen,
Yeah,
I'm Australian, so we just say how it is, right? Your audience is going to think, who is this crazy Aussie chick from the UK on your show?
Why?
But yeah, so it's not thick at the front. So I ride on the nose of my saddle, and my saddle's got the prong, and it's a narrow saddle. I ride a Joff 55, a Cobb Joff 55. It's a beautiful saddle. But yeah, this chamois I've tested, and I have another one as well that I like. I've tested this.
Oh my gosh,
and
you got to test on the different saddles.
Yeah. So I tested this, and I had 4 other females in different sizes and shapes also test the bibs as well. Because my original chamois that I launched when I first came out, the supplier decided not to make them anymore. So if you're running your own brand in Cycle Kit, be prepared for the chamois company that you use to decide not to make that particular chamois anymore because they tested it on a pro rider and the pro rider thinks that it's better like that. So yeah, sometimes you have no control over what you get. But with plastic interface technology, they've got loads. And so you basically go, I went to my factory and I went, can you please make me my bibs, everything exactly the same, but change the chamois on this one, on this one, on this one. And then you just test. Right. And then whichever one doesn't rip your hoo-ha up, that's the one you go for.
Yeah, that's right. I got a chamois sample. I love the shorts, but the chamois, like the padded part is too far back. I'm like,
yeah, because we never on our bottom. We don't ride on our bottom.
What is this? Like, it doesn't even cover half. I'm like, and it's way up my back. I'm like, okay, you need to shift this thing forward like about an inch.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be, because when you lean forward and you're pushing in your saddle, like you don't want to be half on, half off your chamois. It's just like, who put this in here? And I'm like, so it's.
And
I'm like, is there any female?
Do people test? I do wonder.
I know. Is there any female testers in this company? It's an Italian company.
Yeah, probably not to be fair.
Yeah, I know. Not to, but hello. I mean, a good portion of your market, which is growing, by the way, are females. So I'm like, Christ. I was like, well, maybe I can take it to a seamstress and she can take it take the stitching up and just sort of shift
to
it
unstitch
forward so I can love these shorts 100% because they're comfortable.
Comfort is everything. And then you wanted to ask about plus sizes.
Oh yeah, we were going to talk about plus sizes because I was mentioning that there's two girls, Kelsey and Marley, and Kesley and Marley, and they're in California, and I did a podcast on them for plus size girls, and they were talking about like cycling products, you know, from jackets to chamois to like everything, you know, bike saddles in our podcast interview. And then I was just like, well, maybe you should start a brand. You know, because if you're, you know, working with bigger companies, when they don't see that vision, they're like, you know, it's not a market, blah blah blah, and you're like, clearly it's a market. It's almost like you should start, but I'm going to connect you to, but you want to let's talk about plus sizes.
So currently my cycle kit starts at 2XS, so extra small, and it goes right up to 5XL, which I would say is around a size 20. It's a bit hard. I don't know what it would be in American terms, but
that sounds probably about right.
It's quite, it goes up to quite a larger size. Now for the fuller busted and fuller hipped women, a lot, they do purchase it. However, because my brand is a high-end boutique brand and the cost of my product is not cheap, when I looked back and I pulled out all the data and I was like, right, how many clients do I have or that have actually bought anything above a 3XL? And I can tell you less than 20 pieces have been sold in 4 years of being around in that larger market. Now, the reasons why I think of it is could be price, because like if you're starting out, or even, because usually a lot of women and the bigger busted ladies or the fuller size ladies, they might just be starting out and they may not even know if they like cycling. So they won't want to go and spend, you know, 150 pounds on, you know, a top, which over time they may not wear anymore because they might find that they just don't like it, they haven't been cycling enough, whatever the story is, right? So it could be that they're new to the sport. The other thing that is that when you are a fuller busted or a bigger lady, over time you will naturally lose weight, right? So again, why are you going to invest in a high-end boutique brand which has amazing designs? Yes, I have amazing designs and I go up to 5XL, but if you are starting out, or your plan is to slim down for a goal that you have in mind, then you're not going to go and spend the kind of money again, because you'll have a few wears in it, and then over time it will just sit there. You won't wear it anymore. So I have a lot of ladies that love my kit, but always say to me, I'm aspiring to get there because I plan to get down to, say, a 3XL or a 2XL. There's very few that go for the 5XL. And the ladies that I do have that are 5XL, a lot of it comes down to their boobs. So they are not actually big women. They're just got they've got really big bust, like a really big bust. So, and because the fabric is so nice and soft and just like sits on their skin, there's plenty of room for the bust area. And the bibs have got some give. So even if you're a 5XL, you could probably wear them till you're about a 3 or a 4. So you get a bit more wear out of them. But again, a lot of my, I maybe 3 or 4 ladies that purchase the 5. Oh, we've lost you.
Oh,
there you are. Yep, there you go.
Oh, are you going to remove that size?
No, because what I'll do is in my bibs and my winter jacket, like the signature stuff, I'll always hold 1 or 2 of those sizes. When I do my collection, I won't buy and keep it in the store. But what I will do is make it available to those ladies who do wish to purchase at that 5XL. And if I can go bigger, I'll try. I will do them as a pre-order, because there's no point me carrying such a large size if it's never going to move. I've got a size 3XL tri-suit and a 3XL sports bra that I've had since last year, and it hasn't moved. And it's just because women are not racing in that size, or they haven't found my brand yet, or they don't wish to spend that kind of money on that size. So those I will do, but they will come at a pre-order, the larger sizes. The other thing I wanted to let the brands out there know, that, or the women out there know who wish to start a brand or wish to purchase this kind of stuff, is it costs me, the brand owner, it costs me more to make bigger sizes as well. And naturally, that's because of more fabric. It's a lot more to work with. So yeah, that's just another thing. So it comes down to pricing, where someone is at in their goal, in their journey, and yeah, cost to make, cost to sell.
Well, you know, I wonder, do you because I've never seen this, because it's true, larger sizes cost more because of more material, because you're paying per meter.
Yeah.
And then you're making more on the smaller ones because it's less material. I guess it all balances itself out at the end of the day. But I did see, and I can't remember, but one company where they were charging more for plus sizes.
Yeah, and I can understand it. I won't, because it would be a pre-order item.
I don't
anyway.
see that very often. I just saw it one time, but I was like, yeah, I mean, like,
I think when I investigated it more, I was like, oh my God, really? It's going to cost me more to make
yeah,
more,
you're like,
more
yeah, but there's 3 times as much material. You're like, oh.
there's a lot more material. And I'm like, oh, it didn't even occur to me that just because they're using more material that I would have to pay more. I'm like, listen, this is what I want. Can't you just make it? But yeah,
Sweetie, this is what
it can cost. Yeah, it can cost me more, but because the demand is not really there, it's not there for my brand, then yeah, I won't worry. But these 2 girls in Canada, or sorry, in California, if they are going just for the plus size, then I wouldn't even worry about the smaller sizes, because there's plenty of people that cater to that. I would just go straight for the target your niche market. And if your niche market is, 3XL to 8XL or something like that, then that's who you target. And then when you're talking to those people, they're the kind of people that will come through to the store. Okay. The girls outside playing.
Oh.
And they're very loud.
Oh, I can't hear them.
Yeah, so yeah, just do your research. I would say, absolutely.
That's awesome. And so I guess I think we've like chatted about everything. We're definitely going to be putting all her social media links there, and the store. And maybe, Tarsh, if you can give us some kind of an idea when your store is going to open, so people can like bookmark your website so they'll be ready when it opens, so you can pre-order your stuff. You said you had a date?
So the store is currently open. Whatever is in the store now is available for immediate delivery. I will not be doing pre-order again. So when I put new collections in the store, it will be product that you can get straight away. But once it's gone, it's gone.
Okay, that's what you're doing. You're not doing the pre-order anymore.
I'm gonna transition across. And there's also at the bottom of the website, you can sign up for the monthly edit. And in the monthly edit is where I give quite a lot of insight to what's going on with the brand, sneak peeks at the new collection or new product. And then I just share some stuff that I'm learning along the way. And I launched my Stomp the Pedal coaching as well. I'm hoping to do it next month, but we'll see. There's so many things
Get
to
your
do.
certification to be a coach?
Yeah, so I'm in the process of getting 3. I should finish 2 of them by the end of this month. And then I'm going for the 3rd, which will be a lot longer, but I will have enough certification plus all the experience to then, usher some amazing women through on the journey.
Ready. That's time consuming.
Yeah, I know. I know.
You're gonna have to
That's why
decide how many clients you're gonna want to take, because
15. I'm only taking on 15, so no more than 15. Yeah, because I used to think, before I went into this side of the business, I'm like, God, there are so many coaches. For God's sake, there's so many coaches. But I understand now why there are so many coaches, because realistically, I don't know how other coaches do more than 12 to 15 athletes on their own, because this takes so much time, and you're responsible. You need to make sure that you're responsible for the information that you're giving your clients, the kind of sessions that you want them to do, and then also going through that journey with them and doing the reviews and all that kind of stuff. I think if you had more than 15, Jesus,
I know.
that's a money-making machine.
It's building the community around that too. So that's what I've been doing for the last like 15 years is, I don't coach, but like I was kind of thinking about it, but I know how time consuming it is because I have coached. And then like taking away from other things that I don't necessarily want to take away from. So it's like 5 maybe, because I had one, I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, this is, it was just a little over, even one, and with everything else that I was doing, so I'm like, I don't know if I could be a good coach but I'm building a community where I coach like a large number of people at the same time, and I'm going to be doing like weekly to bi-weekly sessions to help people kind of organize themselves. You know what I mean? Like, but if you're doing triathlon, you're thinking 3 sports. I just have 1. And so it makes it a little different, but people can overdo on that too, like
and that's
riding all the time.
And that's the thing. So I'm gonna no more than 15. It's open now for like a wait list, so that I can sort of educate people along the way of what to expect and what it's going to cost.
Who you want to work with.
Correct. And I will not interview them. I want them to interview me, and I want to have an interview, like the initial consultation, because if we don't gel, then there's no point. So it's very much a relationship side of things. So we'll see how
very hard.
Very good.
So, oh my gosh, well, that's awesome. You got lots of stuff going on this fall. So like she said, the store is open. You can get edits. Is that like a newsletter?
So I send out a monthly newsletter. Sorry.
I was like, I think that's a newsletter. So you can get on her newsletter, and so what's your website? Is it just
stompthepedal.co?
Stompthepedal.com. .co. So you can get on there, join her newsletter, stay up to speed as to what she's doing, her coaching, stuff like that. And thank you so much. So thank you to our listeners, and thank you to Tarsh for being so open about your business. Like you said, took about 3 years, right, to get the product to where it is. And if you can watch this episode on YouTube, because the visual of her products are amazing. And just seeing us. No. And don't forget to follow both of us on Instagram. And give us a great review if you feel so moved. But with that, Tarsh, I so appreciate you. This has been amazing, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Have a great day.